Now it's time for Girl, Your Soul is Speaking.
And welcome back to On Air with Tony Sweet. I'm Eddie Connor. I'm your soul is speaking expert. How are you doing, Tony?
I'm good, Ed Connor.
How you doing, Maribel?
Amazing.
Today we're going to be talking about the artist soul. I said that all official, didn't I? The artist soul. And we've had fun today because we've gotten to interview Richard Gunn, and we also talked to Montel Williams. And I was going to totally do a different segment and just sort of being in the moment and tuning into them, listening to their passion, their soul electricity, I call it. We changed the segment to the artist soul. And here's the great thing about the artist soul. We all are creative. Every human is intuitive. Every human is instinctual. Every human is also creative. Here's the big but. But most humans, even when they're children, are trained out of their creative artistic expression. They're trained out of their instinct and out of their intuition. In other words, the soul is 99.99% of who and what we are. And that lives in us. It also lives outside of us and throughout the entire universe. And whenever we start getting only focused on the three-dimensional world, the physicality, what's not working, the people that aren't connecting to us, we will literally almost become the starving artist. And Julia Cameron has a great book called The Artist Way. And the starving artist is not some new concept. It is applicable to every single human on the planet. And so the artist soul is about getting very, very clear about what's in your heart mind. You know, the Greeks back in the day used to think that your brain was your heart. They didn't know the difference. They literally thought your brain was your heart. And that's a great philosophy. I like to call that soulosophy. And your gut brain is your solar plexus. And I call it the solar plexus megaphone. And so that's your digestive area, your stomach, your intestines. So if you have good gut instinct, and I think you do, and Tony has great gut instinct, you will notice that sometimes when you get overly sensitive or you get a little stressed out, I'll go eat sugar, which is why I brought a lot of sugar for y'all today. And if I don't stay in check with what's going on in my heart, mind, and my gut brain, I'll slightly gingerly start getting out of alignment. I'll get out of alignment slow first, which means I'm getting further and further away from my creative artistic soul. And your soul is communicating with you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every 100th of every second. You're breathing awake or breathing asleep, and when you croak and you're no longer in this body. Your soul always perpetually communicates with you. Our only work is to find out what lights us up in our heart. And you could tell these two gentlemen today, even Montel, when he was speaking about MS, multiple sclerosis, he was electric, and he was brilliant because the human body is 0.01% of what creates our reality. And a label that a doctor gives us is even smaller than that. His passion is his heart mind, his dedication, his intention. And what did he say that he did every single night? He said before he fell asleep, he would do what I call think it and ink it. And when you think it, the thoughts are like this. When you ink it on paper, your thoughts become more solidified. Your soul has something to grab onto. The cells and atoms and molecules in your body start moving back toward the stream of pure positive energy. He would write down 3 big things that were noteworthy that day, that really spoke to him, that lit him up from the inside out. He would fall asleep going back into the soul's world, back into the subconscious mind, back into the dream reality, which is more concrete than the one we're living in physically. He takes that energy back out so that when he wakes back up here, which is a notch higher than where he fell asleep. Somebody not connected to their artistic soul will fall asleep talking and complaining and bitching and whining and moaning about what they don't have, what they don't want, and who's not around them that they think would make them happier. And you spoke earlier at the top of the show, Maribel, about a great study that was done about people wanting things to fulfill that place inside of them. But what the survey said, or the study finally showed, was we're really not wanting stuff. We don't want the things. Yeah, we would like to have financial freedom. what speaks to us the most is being appreciated and gratitude. And when you're in your heart mind and when you're in your gut brain, you're living in a perpetual, consistent state of bliss and appreciation, and that's a form of self-love. And so the gut brain, think of it as a big, gigantic yellow megaphone like cheerleaders used to use. When you have this megaphone and it's invisible and it comes out of your gut area, when you think a thought, you'll think a thought about anything, what I'm appreciating right now, something I appreciate that makes me feel good. Before I finish that invisible thought, it activates a frequency in my solar plexus. This gut brain, the solar plexus megaphone, is what the non-physical world, Christ, God, universe, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, that's the language it speaks in order to communicate with us. So we can say, I want a man, please, Lord, bring me a man. And the universe hears womp, 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 womp. And it doesn't even hear that. It just feels this. Dum, 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 dum. It feels disconnection. It feels discord. It feels dis-ease. So if you have any of those dissing things, then you're going to be pulled way out of your heart, mind, and your gut brain. You're not going to be in the artist soul place. And when you start smelling the roses, metaphor, but it's a great metaphor, when you start talking to people that make you feel good, that make you feel connected and alive and happy, then the universe, through your solar plexus, starts feeling you, that's the language, starts feeling you as prosperous, abundant, rich, seen, heard, happy. And the only language they hear from us, they don't even hear it, they feel it. Think of a frequency. Thank you. Here's what they just showed me. Remember back in the day, I wasn't in music class, but I was in marching band. Okay. I was in color guard. I was rifle. And remember when they would set a piano on the far right side of the gym, and then they would have a piano on the far left side of the gym? Then they went to the far right side of the gym and they tap, 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 tap a single key on the piano. And then all the way on the other side of the gym, the cord that ran to that identical key started to vibrate. On the opposite side of the gym. Ding, 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 ding. And so it was resonating a frequency. Now you could hear the cord, the key. You couldn't see it, but you could hear it. And that invisible thought, which activates an invisible feeling, that feeling is the chord that the universe is going to say yes to. So if you're sending out a poverty chord, it says, I love you unconditionally, here's more poverty. I love you unconditionally, here's a poverty mate, here's a poverty job, here's a poverty friend, here's a poverty billfold. And the second you think thoughts that empower you, similar to what Montel was talking about, and you engrave that in your mind, your heart, mind, and your gut brain, and you make that a habit, can you imagine the orchestrated music, feeling, crescendos that are coming forth from your solar plexus megaphone? So the universe is going, more of this, more riches, more abundance, more happiness, more connection, more sprinkles cupcakes. And when we play that game for the joy of playing that game, then we will keep getting more and more and more of what we do want instead of what we don't want. So with the artist soul, we all have it. Our job is to tune into the heart mind, get clear about what we love, get clear about how we feel when we're doing what we love, and then speak to the universe with our invisible language of feelings, attitudes, emotions, and frequencies. And that is, girl, your soul is speaking. Oh, God.